welcome back to the channel. My name is Violet and I'm super happy to have you here. In today's video I created 6 different looks with the BH Cosmetics Ho Ho Holidays from 2020 Naughty palette. It's a palette that I've just been wanting ever since I saw it when it launched last year. So now it's finally in my hands and I just had a lot of fun creating looks. If you're curious on the earrings, I will link the haul in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Look number 1, and we're going to be using the BH Cosmetics Naughty palette, starting off with Nutcracker on my ColourPop E9 brush and using this to pack on to the outer corner of my eyelid as well as my lower lash line, and only going halfway with this shade. And then we're going to be taking Santa Baby on my ColourPop E2 brush to blend out the harsh edges on my eyelid as well as the lower lash line from the previous shade called Nutcracker. And then we're going to be going and using Candied Fruit and applying this only on the middle part of my eyelid because we're going to be using another shimmer shade called Ornaments, and applying this on the innermost part of my eyelid, meeting in with Candied Fruit and blending the two together, and then using Snow Day as my inner corner highlight with my e.l.f. small smudge brush, and then using the LA Girl pastel eyeliner in lavender in my waterline. And this is how the completed look turned out. Look number 2, going in with the shade called Frosting on my Real Techniques 305 brush and applying this in the natural fold of my crease as well as halfway on the lower lash line. Then we're going to be taking Sugar Plum on my AOA E136 and applying this only on the outer corner of my eye and only halfway on the lower lash line. And then we're going to be using Brick on my AOA E138 to further deepen things up on the outer corner as well as on the lower lash line, only halfway again. And then we're going to be using Balsam on my AOA E139 and only placing this on my innermost part of my lid as well as my innermost part of the lower lash line. And then we're going to top it off with Very Merry, where we applied the green shade on the top of the eyelid as well as using the e.l.f. concealer brush in the inner corner as my inner corner highlight. And then this is how look number 2 turned out. Look number 3, starting off with Rudolph on the ColourPop E9 brush and only packing this on the innermost part of my eyelid. Then taking Candy Cane on my ColourPop E1 brush and applying this on the middle part of my eyelid. And then taking Ho Ho No on the Profusion ES3 brush on the outer corner of my eye. And then using Rum on my Beauty Creations angled brush on the lower lash line all the way across. And then taking Cheers on my e.l.f. small smudge brush and using this as my inner corner highlight. And then this is how look number 3 turned out. Look number 4, starting off with Meringue, just to set my concealer or my foundation, anything that's on my eyes that's wet. And then using Brick and Nutcracker on the ColourPop E9 brush and packing this on the outer corner of my eye as well as halfway on the lower lash line. And then taking Candy Cane on my ColourPop E1 brush and using this to blend out those previous 2 shades that I used as well as blending the bottom lash line of the previous two shades as again. And then taking Ho Ho No and applying this on the innermost part of my lid, just packing this on with a Cala flat concealer brush, and then going in with Rudolph with my Real Techniques base shadow brush and using this in my innermost part of my crease, and then using Spark Cider on my finger to apply this on the innermost part on my eyelid, and then using a Mistletoe, and then we're going to be placing this on the middle of my eye, so next to Spike Cider but in the middle of my eye. It's like a halo type of thing. And then taking Kohl on my Kenzie, it's a no-name brush, and just applying this on the outer corner of my eye as well as my lower lash line, just very close to my lashes. And then using Decked Out on my e.l.f. concealer brush, just on the lower lash line, but the innermost part of it to brighten things up there. And then using Spicy with my e.l.f. small smudge brush as my inner corner highlight. And this is how look number 4 turned out. Look number 5, going in with the shade called Misbehave on the Real Techniques 305 brush and applying this a little bit on the outer corner into my natural fold of crease as well as halfway on the lower lash line. And then taking the shade called Greeting on the same Real Techniques 305 brush and placing this on the outer corner into my natural fold of crease as well as on the half of the lower lash line, and taking the shade called Pantone on the same brush in the same positioning as the previous two shades, the outer corner into the natural fold of my crease as well as halfway on the lower lash line. And then taking the shade called Yuletide on my AOA E138 and just using this to deepen up the very most outer part of my outer corner as well as just very close to my lower lash line to just deepen things up a little bit. And then using Spicy on my e.l.f. and Nabella Noir flat shader brush on the innermost part of my eyelid, and then using the same brush with Mistletoe and I'm packing this onto the middle of my eyelid, so right next to the Spicy shade, and then using Kohl on my AOA E138 to deepen the outer corner just a tad, and then going in with Very Merry on my Kenzie, it doesn't really have a name, and using this as my inner corner highlight. And this is how look number 5 turned out. Look number 6, starting off with Secret Santa on the Real Techniques 305 brush, placing this loosely all over the eyelid, but trying to focus it in the natural crease area. Then taking the shade called Frosting on the same Real Techniques 305 brush and placing this in the natural fold of my crease area, as well as on the lower lash line all the way across. Then taking the shade called Santa Baby on the Real Techniques base shadow brush and mainly placing this in the outer corner of my eye, and then using this same shade to apply on the lower lash line about halfway across. And then going into the shade called Candy Cane on the ColourPop E9 brush, but focusing this on the outermost part of my eyelid, building this up, kind of blending it out, as well as on the lower lash line halfway across. And then going into the shade called Very Merry on my finger and applying this on the innermost part of my eyelid, sweeping it slightly about middle way, and then taking the shade called Ornaments on my e.l.f. small smudge brush and using the shade as my inner corner highlight and taking it on the lower lash line a bit. And this is how final look number 6 turned out.
Thank you guys
guys so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know which of the looks was your favorite in the comments down below. I would love to chat with you down there. As always, have an awesome rest of your day and or week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye, guys.